Hello, I'm Master Roxas, and welcome to Chaos Island. In the Sonic Frontiers 80% run, Chaos Island is true to its name by being the most chaotic of the islands. Unlike the previous islands, we have to do everything. There are no major skips on this island. We have to do everything the game expects us to do, except for one important thing, which I will cover when we get there. As you can see on the map being drawn, this is also known as the Slingshot Island, because we go everywhere across the entire island several times. Now, to complete this island, we have to do a lot of things. We need to get 3 gears in order to do 3 stages, in order to get a total of 25 keys, 21 from stages, 4 from key digs. You also need 140 memory tokens, which about 136 of them can be gotten from the digs around the island. The other 4, which I will show on the map and throughout the run, you have a couple options of which strays you'd like to get, but we do show the best ones. They're very easy and on the way. The most important thing that you'll notice on the map is all the purple coin locations. Coming into Chaos, you will have had 3 purple coins, and that is it from the first 2 islands. On Chaos, you're going to be getting 51 coins, and it is imperative that you get all of them, as in missing any can be very, very annoying to make up later. However, if you do mess up, cooking is allowed, and while cooking is slower, you can use it if you do mess up and miss coins in Oranos, but I'll cover that on the Oranos video. Back to Chaos, there are a couple important skips that we do on Chaos as well, the most notable being Shield Escape Skip and Pinball Skip, which will be covered in depth when we get to their sections. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy and are ready to learn probably the hardest island in the game. If you can pass this, you can beat the game and get a really good time. But first, let's get a refresher of the Slingshot. Alright, utilizing Sonic Stomp ability, we are going to show you how to Slingshot, just in case you haven't seen the previous videos. Slingshot is the most important technique used in the Sonic Frontier speedrun. Slingshot allows us to get immense speed and height. Normally, when you do a stomp attack by locking an enemy, you can dodge and press the stomp button to get above an enemy. Cancel that stomp with a boost, and you go flying near an enemy that is an HSP. If you do it on the frame perfect frame, it'll go up. If you use a mag dash or homing dash to get away from the enemy, you can extend the lock on. Do an HSP input just like that, and you will get a slingshot. The farther away from the enemy you go, and the higher away they are, the farther and higher you will go. So if this enemy is way higher than me and I do a slingshot, I get immense speed and distance. This is very important because we use this to get all around Chaos. Practice this, it's important. Alrighty, now that you're coming in fresh from Ares Island, you are still in 30 frames per second. So make sure you run over here to get your first gear dig. After that, you're going to do a slingshot off the top enemy right up here to get to this tower on the right. So the slingshot angle you're going to want is a hard right angle, and you're going to want to cancel it pretty quick in order to get onto this tower. There is a free token that you can get right up here, and now we're going to duplicate this gear. This is why we stayed in 30 frames per second, because if you grab this gear and stomp off the tower in 30, boom, it's a magic trick. Now you have 2 gears. Then you're going to get those 4 purple coins and run to this enemy right here to do a slingshot right across the gap. Get across the gap and run over to get the key dig next to 3-1, and we're going to head in straight in 3-1, where I will let Gordon take it over and explain how to do it.
Alright, welcome to Chaos Island. 3-1 is potentially the most difficult cyberspace stage in the 80% run. That said, it's still pretty easy, but you do need to be paying attention. If you're not focused, this stage can easily catch you off guard and just completely end your run. So I will slow down my explanations a little bit more. Alright, when we load in, we're going to want to collect 10 rings, then sidestep to the left. Now you see those robots? We're going to do a homing dash off of them, heading up left. Now you do need to do this input pretty early, and if you mess it up, your backup is to go off this spring. It's the exact same direction. It's basically the same thing. It's just, if you can't get the input before you land, just jump up and do it off of that spring. Jump when you hit the red ring, up left, stomp. Now there is a homing dash you can do here if you want to go for it. Line yourself up with this leftmost jump board, and then just tap the input. For this one, we're going to run backwards, homing dash off of a B, and get all the way over there to that big pillar you can see. I like to line Sonic up with this, then hold straight back, and when I run off, flick. Stomp when the camera starts changing. And just go off of that B. Okay, we now have enough rings for all the missions, so pretty much good to go. If you want to be a little fancy here, you can do this. That really is as easy as just running off the platform, holding up left, and doing a magnet dash. But it is a little risky. If you don't want to do that, you can go a little bit higher up the tree and there's another enemy. Once you're up here, just tap the input. That's all you gotta do. And then just kind of spam X in your homing attack on something. From here, jump over, hit it, and you're good. I'll do this thing one more time, just all the way through, no commentary, so that you can see how it looks like, if you haven't seen a run before for whatever reason. Okay, I said no commentary, but I'm gonna show the other route here. And there you go. You really shouldn't be getting a time higher than a minute. Sub-minute is pretty darn easy to reach. And yeah, that's 3-1.
Alright, now that you survived 3-1, you're going to exit out and get this token dig that you didn't, unless you got it before. And you're going to head over to the left to get to the first spinny boy that we use for a slingshot towards another dig. This spinny boy right here is named Charles. He likes to spin around in circles. Time your mag dash off him to make it over to this token dig. Following talking to this, you're going to do a slingshot all the way past 3-2 to get another gear dig. This spinny boy is named William. This one's a bit annoying because it's really, really far. So you're going to come, if you come over here, you can notice that's where you need to go. So when you do the slingshot off of William, you're going to want to do the mag dash in this direction to the upper right towards the volcano and just past the house. So seeing here, you want to come about to here. The farther you get, the faster you're going to go, but you don't want to go too far because you'll get stuck on those rocks. So you're ideally going to want to go here, give or take, maybe a little farther, slingshot in a down left direction to go as far over as possible. If you get a really good slingshot, you can make it all the way to the gear dig, but as long as you get past that wall, you're pretty good. Get the gear dig, do an extra side loop for a lucky token if you want, and make your way back towards 3-2. On the way back to 3-2, there's another token dig we need to get. And if you're lucky with the bird, you can do the funny off the bird, and like I try to show here, if you do a stomp and boost, you can get a lot of speed. It's not really worth going for, it's just more of, if the bird happens to be nice while you're getting the dig, you can get a nice speed boost. But anyway, 3-2, it's a very fun stage, and I'll pass it back to Gordon to explain it.
It is finally time for the best piece of content in Sonic Frontiers, 3-2. This is a very easy stage. This is a very consistent stage. This is a stage with one of the best soundtracks. This is a stage with one of the coolest skips. 3-2 is amazing. So let's just get into it. You've come this far, you're about halfway through. Should have a pretty good idea of how things work, but I'll still walk you through it. Hold boost here, and then tap it as soon as you leave that ramp. Same idea here, tap boost as soon as you run off. Then you can just kind of homing attack up here. delay your homing dash so that you go underneath the rail, and spam double jump as you go off the spring. Movement here is pretty self-explanatory. And here's where things get fun. We're going to do a trick called 3D and 2D. It's exactly as the name implies. You see that spring in the background? We're going to run over to it and do a homing dash to skip to the end. To set this up, hit the spring and then spam stomp. Now, I like to line myself up here on this little orange patch just after the wood. Now what I'm going to do is hold up and then hold kind of upright. And you just fly to the end. That's about it. You can do this stage in around 20 seconds if you're fast enough. Really, that trick may look a little intimidating. It's not as hard as it seems. In fact, it's very easy. It's very consistent. I hope you come to love 3-2 as much as I do.
Alright, with 3-2 done, if you're on 60 FPS, you're going to take a trick launch off the chair, and you're going to go see the spinny boy on the right. His name is Larry. We're going to use Larry to go all the way to the red emerald. So what you're going to want to do is get a lock-on Larry, and you're going to aim that down there where I just pointed, and you're going to do a hard upright angle to get to the red emerald. Just like that, run all the way over there, and sling, and you make it all the way to red. So what you're going to want to do here is stomp right when you get to the red emerald to get this dig. Grab the red emerald, and then you're going to be able to get a stray and 4 purple coins. There's a very easy stray to get right here on this rail, followed by 4 purple coins that you want to get on this gun. Then you're going to run down here to get this last dig and map warp to go back to the spawn. Now coming up next will be, if you're on 30 FPS or old gen, unfortunately you can't do a trick launch off the chair consistently. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to need to do a slide launch if you want to do it quickly to get up to Larry. There will be a tutorial link for how to do a slide launch below. It is annoying, and I'm sorry if you're on 30 FPS, but it's what you're going to have to do. So as you can see, you can't stand on that. So if you're on 30 FPS, you're going to need to come over here to get kind of below Larry on this slope. And looking up like that, the slope, you're able to actually do a slide launch off the slope barely, quickly get up there to be able to get the lock on that you need. And boom, you're able to then do the exact same slingshot despite being on 30 FPS and make it all the way to the red emerald. Just like that. Alright, so now that you've gotten your red emerald and map warp back, we're going to go get another key and some more tokens, and then we're going to go free tails. Can't leave our little buddy hanging, can we? Alright, so you just follow this movement over here to get this key and get this token dig. And then coming over this slope, we're going to meet a fine bloke. Fine bloke indeed. That's his name, by the way. So you're going to do a nice easy slingshot straight up, no issues, very, very easy lineup to get to the roof of this building where you see some spike balls. Hurt yourself. This is important because you do need to lose rings, because if you remember how we did Wyvern Escape Skip, well, we're going to skip the cutscene for Shield Escape Skip. And in order to do that, we need to use the Power Charge cutscene to give ourselves tech storage again. So come up here and free Tails, but do not do the second release on Tails yet. Alright, so in order to skip the cutscene going into CES, or Shield Escape Sequence, so after you've done the first thing on Tails and you have the other two, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get rings, immediately talk to Tails as fast as possible, and pause in both of the cutscenes so the rings get delayed coming into Sonic. If you do it quick enough and correctly, then you'll actually get tech storage, because the Power Charge cutscene will overwrite the game just like it does in West with the Strider cutscene, allowing you to move with text, so then we're able to then run off into the pit and allowing us to death warp to skip the Shield Escape. So get your rings, mash talking to Tails, mash pause, skip, mash pause, skip, and if you did it correctly, you're going to be able to get tech storage. So you are the key, and you're able to move. So then just run off into the off the cliff. And when you do, just wait till Sonic screams, and right when he does, press any button to skip the cutscene. And we're now in Shield Escape Skip. Probably the hardest trick in Sonic Frontier speedrunning. This was found by D-Pad Gamer when trying to do a jumpless run. This is an automated sequence that we break out of because running on the Squid Trail is really slow, plus we need to grab the blue emerald. Make sure that you kill yourself if you did the cutscene skip so Squid spawns. Otherwise, I'm going to do my best to explain the inputs with a crappy phone video now. To briefly show the inputs of Cess, as soon as you respawn in after dying to the shield, hold straight up until you go down the slope. As soon as you go down the slope, hold about halfway right, about this much, till you see Sonic start to jitter into the cliff. Boost, tap boost, hold up, boost again out of the trick launch to get over the invisible wall and out. Make sure to stomp onto the squid trail, and you're in Cess. Yep, like I just showed, that's pretty much all there is to it. You gotta hold straight up, hold barely right, and make sure the squid is there. And if you do it right when you see Sonic jitter up against the cliff, if you boost, you'll get an upwards trick launch. Stomp onto the squid trail to trigger squid to move, because otherwise he won't get to the end. This is very important because the game will crash if the squid is not at the end of the trail. Get the blue emerald, get all 5 of these purple coins, 2 off the pillars, and the 3 up here. Get this token dig, and you're going to do a trick launch from this island all the way to the Crescent Island with 3-5 on it. The lineup for this is, if you look at this cliff, you'll notice that there's like a black line going upright. That's pretty much the angle you want to hold. So you want to run up and then do upright. And you want to make it all the way to this island if you hold up on your control stick the entire time. For more clarification, there will be another guide to Cess specifically linked in the description below. When you make it to 3-5 Island, you're going to want to get this token dig and activate the portal, but do not go in it. Coming up next, we're going to be skipping the cutscene that ends Cess. This is also a very precise trick that requires a lot of practice and lineup, but if you do it right, you'll spawn right up here at the chair and not have to watch the entire 30-second cutscene, which is huge. So, as I said before, make sure Squid is at the end of the trail. Sometimes he likes to lag behind, just like he is doing here. Sometimes he's already there. If you have to wait, that's fine. Unfortunately, if you were to go and try to skip the cutscene now and touch the cutscene trigger, your game will straight up crash. So, once he's there, do a trick launch all the way down to this point. What you want to look for is this part of the cliff. That little circle right there of a lichen is a good lineup to know. You want to land on the darker part of the cliff, not up here, so that way you don't respawn down here. Now, it's very annoying because the cutscene trigger is a huge invisible plane that's coming from right to left and a diagonal that's cutting through the land and the death plane. So standing about where Sonic is, so you want to get a lineup that works for you, so you're going to need to play with this a little bit. You can kind of see there's like a couple little spikes in the side of the cliff, and there's also the pillars over there. You have a lot of options to find something to line up, so make sure you can pause the video here to find a good lineup that you like. And if we do the cutscene skip correctly and you go down here from doing a trick launch, you will spawn all the way back up here. So to do it more properly again, you're going to want to come over here and trick launch to here, land, find your lineup, rotate the camera the correct way, and go straight down. I will try to put on the screen the best place to run off, in my opinion, but try to have your camera match mine, and then as soon as you die, hold right on your stick, and if you do it properly, Sonic will stop screaming midway, and you'll spawn back at the top. Because I was trying to explain the guide, it maybe spawn on the rail, but normally you'll spawn right there. This will definitely take some practice, but once you nail it, it's a huge time save. Anyway, 3-5.
Okay, 3-5, last stage in Chaos Island. This one is easy. Like, really easy. It's not interesting either. I mean, you shouldn't be messing up in this one. You can probably pick up all the movement you need just watching a playthrough, but I'll commentate a little bit. See, playing this casually, this is the annoying drift stage. In a speedrun, this is the funny light dash stage. You see a trail of rings, light dash on it. Pick up the red ring. Oh, that's another trail of rings. We're gonna light dash. Oh, what do you know? Here's another light dash. That looks like a trail of rings to me. Now that led you into a drift, don't worry, just hold left, you'll be fine. That's pretty much the only drift you're going to take. You can skip that trail if you want, because it ends. Then this one just gives you a lot of speed, which is pretty cool. Another red ring. And after this one, you can start holding down quick step to pick up a little bit of extra speed. It's not necessary. It matters a lot more in the IL, but for any percent, just do what you want. Grab that last one, and bada bing, bada boom. That's 3-5.
Alright, that's the last cyberspace level on Chaos, so the rest is just movement. So you're going to double jump over here and boost to get to this trick launch. This is the most consistent way to get over to the Tails Island. Very, very simple to do. Just hold up left the whole time, boost near the end, and you can easily make it to Tails. After we talk to Tails, our next goal is to go to that computer that just got unlocked. So we're going to grab this key in the center and trick launch off over here to get this token dig. Now, just in case you mess up the trick launch to get to Tails, you can do a backup with this rail right here. It's a very easy backup. You can just do a quick rail jump after boosting, and you'll be able to quickly make it up to the island as well, like that. It's a very, very good backup. Anyway, you're going to want to come over to these spinny boys and do a slingshot to the right of the laser grid. You got to make sure you don't go too far close to the laser grid, as it will suck you in if you're not careful. So it's usually better to go to the top of the two spinny boys and run away, do a slingshot directly down, and you can make it up this hill to make it to this token dig. Your angle is pretty much directly towards the yellow emerald. And then you're going to want to run down here towards the hacking giant robot to get this key. This will unlock the white emerald, and this is the last key dig that we need. So now we're done with keys. And all that's left is to head right into hacking. Hacking is basically whatever you want to call it, near, Toho, whatever you want to call it. It's the really, really basic, just shoot the correct color to not get hurt. You can get a couple extra frames of time save if you actually mash the inputs versus just holding it. It's kind of up to you if you want to mash, but otherwise it's pretty basic. Just, you know, don't get hit and follow the pattern to quickly build up your meter to do a full charge, and then you'll be able to end the hacking much quicker that way. And yeah, that's pretty much hacking. The giant laser beam will shoot, and we will head on over to Tails and get some more digs. Alright, so yep, after hacking, just going to run over here and talk to Tails. And then we're going to go towards stage 3-6 to get a token dig. You can, as always, if you have to run, hold sidestep. It does help with movement. Get this dig, and then we're going to head to this tower in order to get some more purple coins. You can jump onto this tower and just boost to get an easy free trick launch at the top. Very easy. Jump down to the lower level of this tower, and then you can do a trick launch directly to the top of this pillar for another token dig. And then you're going to cross this gap as quick as you can. If you do press it quick enough, you can do an Air Jordan by dodging to get across the gap quicker. Either way, you're going to want to get to this Tails as fast as possible. And then you're going to come over around this pillar, and we're going to set up to go to White Emerald next. You can do a mag dash to get up to this token and 4 more purple coins. As you just saw, the way I looked with the camera, we are going to do a slingshot all the way to that White Emerald using the speed boy right above us. This one is named Steve. So you're going to jump into these dash rings and do a mag dash away from him up left, just to the right of that base of that pillar. Then you'll do a slingshot directly down left, and you'll make it all the way to the White Emerald. It's a very nice slingshot too, with a good view. Anyway, make it all the way to the White Emerald and grab 6 purple coins all around the White Emerald and pick up your White Emerald. Up next, we'll be headed to Live and Learn and Nuts and Bolts. Now, in case you're wondering why I mentioned Live and Learn as a music note song, it's because we actually do get it in this run. This is the Live and Learn route, after all. And that's what we're going to do next. So first, do a trick launch between this barrel and this Coco to go back towards Larry. This time, when you get over here and stop, you're going to actually use the one on the left, which is his brother, Jerry. And using Jerry, you're going to slingshot over that mountain directly to the Live and Learn song. So aim to the same spot as you did for the red emerald, but then hold down on the slingshot. Stay right of tails to go to this upwards pillar, and this is where live and learn is, and 5 purple coins that we need. Do an Air Jordan and get to tails. Alright, welcome to Nuts and Bolts. Nuts and Bolts is a very interesting minigame that doesn't like to behave sometimes. It's very simple. You don't have power boost, so feel free to boost away without worrying about losing control. You kind of just want to get all these early ones, and then on the purple ones, you want to boost and mash stomp. Well, mash slide on the ground to break the boxes as fast as possible. The reason I said earlier that this minigame doesn't like to work sometimes is because sometimes on the purple boxes, the nuts will actually just straight up spawn underneath the platform and fall into the lava, and you just don't get them. So sometimes you just randomly lose time, and it's a bit annoying. Anyway, as I said, mash slide and boost, like right there, the nuts just didn't spawn, so I didn't get them. It's kind of annoying. If that ever happens, break a couple extra boxes like these over here. Otherwise, you can quickly shortcut up here to get to the top. You don't have to go around on the rails. It's slow. And then just, mash slide to break all the boxes as quick as possible. Try to avoid going in the air. But otherwise, yeah, it's a very simple minigame. You can usually finish easily with over 80 seconds left without too much issue. And yeah, that's Nuts and Bolts and the Green Emerald. We actually skipped the jingle and the run, so I figured I'd let you see the Emerald dance and the guide. You're welcome. Alright, with Banjo and Kazooie Nuts and Bolts completed, we're going to head on over to that yellow emerald. So first, come around on this gun to get some more purple coins that we need. And make your way around the lava, because lava baths are not healthy for hedgehogs, believe it or not. Do a trick launch off this platform, and run around this house to the left to get an aerial jump to get these 4 purple coins on the ledge. Get the dig inside the last house. And make your way over to these soldiers past the rail, because doing the rail is slow. So you can do a slower slingshot, you can either side loop them or try to do a slightly riskier normal mag dash to get enough height, and do a quick easy slingshot across. If you happen to land on the rail, it's no big deal. If you still happen to be short of stray, you can get this one right here. You want to be at 124 tokens total at this point when talking to this Tails. So talk to Tails, go around this gun for 4 more purple coins. Grab the token dig, and plain and simple, just make your way up to the yellow emerald. So coming up next will be another route diversion between PC and PlayStation 5 versus Xbox and 30 FPS users on old gen. I will be showing the PC and PlayStation 5 route first, which is used as a map warp, followed by a backup found by CriticalCyd for older gen and Xbox users that have longer load times. Shoutouts to CriticalCyd for helping me with this video and the alternate route. So immediately after grabbing the yellow emerald, if you're on PC and PlayStation 5, we're going to go to the bridge minigame, and the best way for us to go there is to map warp back to the spawn. And back at the spawn, there is a spinny boy waiting for us who we have named Curly. Curly is a very good chap. It allows us to curl and fly all the way across the entire island. This is also the same enemy I showed in the beginning of the video for how to do the slingshot. So you're going to run on up to Curly, do a nice big mag dash all the way down, past those purple rings down over there, and then you're going to hold a hard down left angle to get to the tails at the bridge. Just like that, and boom, you go flying across the entire island, and you're at the bridge minigame. Just like that. Now, coming up next is the alternate route for old gen by CriticalCyd or Xbox. Do a trick launch off the yellow emerald and make your way back to this training dummy that's near the token dig that you got. Do a very precise high-speed slingshot off this token dummy, and you can barely make it back to the gun. Following that, you're just going to make your way all the way to the bridge manually using, I recommend holding sidestep like this to preserve your momentum and do your best to dodge the rocks. And just like that, that's how you get over here. That is a lot faster to do than it is to map warp on Xbox and old gen because of the extra load time that they have. Coming up now is everyone's favorite minigame that we have to do in the run that we can't skip, skydiving. Skydiving is really, really basic. It's just hold boost the entire time and dodge everything. You want to hit as little stuff as possible, including gold rings. On that first enemy, you can intentionally clip through it by taking damage, and it doesn't matter. After that, do not hit any of the springs, even the ones pointing down. They are not faster. Just make your way over to here, hold down left to get to the bottom left enemy, and mash homing attack to get to the spring. Hold up right immediately after to get to the one in the center, because we do have to hit that one. After that, hold boost and go all the way to the bottom, and try to not let go of boost if you can, and dodge all the enemies. And if you do it right, you can catch what is known as the early cycle like that. And just like that, that enemy at the bottom will not be spinning if you play the minigame perfectly, and that is what we call early cycle. If you do mess up at all, then take your time by letting go of boost to fall a little slower and kill the other two enemies as needed to stall yourself if the guy at the bottom is spinning. Do not let yourself get blended. It is annoying, and it's not worth replaying this minigame to save a couple seconds. Alright, so now that you've gotten the Cyan Emerald from the bridge, we're going to use this spinny boy over here named Mo to go all the way back to spawn. So you want to aim to the left of that, just to the right of that gun with a slingshot, and then hold hard left on your controller. By doing this, you'll fly all the way past the mountain back towards the tails. Angle yourself to the right, and what you're looking for is this small pillar right in front of the house. You want to jump and try to land on this pillar for these 2 purple coins. Very easy to do. And grab this token dig. Following this, you can run up this hill and go towards the tails, but make sure to grab these 4 purple coins off the gun behind the tails first. Finally, before we head up to the infamous Pinball Skip, make sure, after you talk to tails, load your autosave. This is very important. Pinball Skip is next. This was found by Kabali, who single-handedly probably saved Sonic Frontier speedrunning. So make sure you load the autosave so that way Pinball Skip actually works properly. And I'm going to do my best to explain it. It is kind of complicated, but also easy at the same time. This box is very important. We like this box. We're going to use this box. We're going to spawn there after some weird map warp shenanigans, after some weird respawn shenanigans. So you're going to be doing a blind walk from that box all the way to this cliff. The problem is, as I'm showing it in game, you are going to make it to this point without seeing, and then you're going to need a double jump boost right when you're able to see Sonic. I know it sounds complicated, but when you see the actual inputs, it'll make a lot more sense. The goal is we're going to start Spinball, load an autosave, and then due to a messed up code in the game's files that allows us to move with an autosave that's not supposed to exist, we're going to spawn at that box, be able to walk to the crater, and jump into the crater to be able to die during Pinball. So what you're going to want to do is, punch that box so it'll set our save position, and talk to Tails. Now, for whatever reason, the game gives us an autosave at this point when it's really not supposed to. And this autosave will spawn us outside of Pinball, which is what's really weird about it. So I'm going to do my best to explain the inputs of Pinball Skip next.
Alright, here I'm going to show the inputs I use for the blind walk for Pinball Skip as best as I can. So I already had the Pinball Skip set up by hitting the box and quitting out during Pinball. So by loading the autosave, I'm going to hold this angle, about 830. When the screen transitions, double jump boost, hold to skip, and keep pressing to pause. And then that's how I do Pinball Skip.
So yep, like I said, right when you get into Pinball, quit out of Pinball immediately and load your autosave. Hold the down left angle about 830 on your controller, and you'll hear Sonic moving towards the crater. As soon as you can see Sonic, double jump boost towards the crater, and then hold the skip button and mash pause. This is very important to make sure you don't die too soon, because Sonic still falls during cutscenes unless you pause them, then he stops moving. Now, if you manage to get Pinball to load, or just before like that, you will get to this state where the game does not know what to do. It's like, there's no flag, you're supposed to be in Pinball, what happened? Well, if we go to the crater and kill ourselves, the game goes, well, oh, you must have beaten Pinball, so here, I'm going to tell you to go to the crater now, even though the death plate is still there. So do what I did specifically and do an Air Jordan by sidestepping right as you go over the lip of the cliff to get to aerial height, because this is important. It lets us do a trick known as Crater Skip, which will let us spawn up here during the night fight. So you're going to stop after doing Pinball Skip, you're going to get the night cutscene, but you're going to die again. Because you died again, though, you're going to spawn on top of the cliff, and this is very important. Next up is Fighting Night, the best Titan fight in the game. Alright, so you made it to the end of Chaos. Congrats. Now you get to fight Night. So step 1 is come to this little area for that rock, that little bit of rock that's sticking out. Step 2, hope Night fails his tryouts for Disney on Ice and only spins twice. Step 3, trick launch to Night. Hopefully he's not far away like this. You can still make it. If you're lucky, he stops closer to you and you make it to his head even faster. That's a bit of an RNG time save. Either way, do this to skip right to his head, don't have to deal with his arm or any of those shenanigans. Now that you're supersonic in the fight, you're going to want to just kind of chill out and let him do his spins. And then after you do his spins, you want to try to hit him if you can to make him put up the shield. If not, just parry, punch the shield, and press RB to dodge around him and do a side loop behind his shield. If you do it carefully, you won't get stuck on his head, and you'll be able to skip riding the shield just like that. And then proceed to just repeatedly stomp him and skip to Phase 2. Phase 2 is where he likes to throw the shield at you and spin around and be invincible. And your job is to find the shield, get in its path, parry it, and send the shield hurling back into his face. Now, at first glance, this seems like it'd be annoying and hard to do. In all reality, it's really not that bad, because the main trick to it is Sonic will shoot the shield wherever he's facing. If you're lucky, he can throw the shield right at you and you can react to it in the fight instantly. Most of the time, he'll do this. So if you'll notice, the way I'm facing the camera is the way the shield shows. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get in the shield's path and wait to see where he goes. He's on my right, boom. Rotate my camera, and now you can able to nail him. That's the trick to Phase 2 Night, is get in the path of the shield, stay still, and then right before the shield hits you while you're holding parry, use your right hand to swivel your camera quickly to face Night wherever he is right before the shield hits you, and you'll nail him every time, and you don't have to worry about playing math games and measuring the geometry. Now, just like you did in Ares, I didn't show it in this guide because we didn't know about it yet at the time of the recording. But when you get to the mashing segment, you can rotate your control stick to speed it up, and you don't have to mash. Otherwise, that's it. You have completed Chaos. Arguably the hardest island in the game. So, congratulations. Hats off to you. Enjoy your well-deserved most epic moment in Sonic Frontiers. And I will look forward to seeing you on Rhea Island. Up next. This has been Master Roxas for the Chaos 80% Route Guide for Sonic Frontiers. Special shoutouts again go to Phanz for helping me make the maps and other editing, Gordon Ramsay for helping out with Cyberspace, and CriticalCyd for the backup routes for Xbox and 30 FPS users.